Hi there, Angelina here, and today we're going to talk about travel, trip planning, and
slowing down.
slow travel. If you're like me and want to make the absolute most of your time here on Earth, you want to be productive with your time. And for me to be productive means to find fulfillment in every moment and be totally present and true to myself and my surroundings, here and now. So at this point, you might be wondering, why slow travel? If there's one thing we can take away from the mess of COVID-19 and all of 2020, it's the value behind taking a break. A big chunk of the population was forced to rethink their daily routines and evaluate their situation. You either took that opportunity and ran with it by making a career change or moving, bringing attention to your creative endeavors, or you resisted the worldwide lockdown and festered in anger. My point is, for a bunch of us, time has slowed down. We pressed pause and took a breath of fresh air from the race of success, expansion,
and power
that we constantly stress about in school and work. I understand that we hustle largely due to survival and necessity, but it really comes down to how we define wealth and really if we're happy with our hustle, which is a whole other topic. But back to my point. Why not see this slowing down as a positive thing and apply it to the way we travel and live life? Before the pandemic, the modern person's life and travel experience was a blur of tightly strung together events, one directly after another. Next, go, go, go. The quality of our experiences can too easily be overshadowed by the sheer amount we're trying to see and do. A lot of the times, we find ourselves exhausted, shuttling from one place to the next, disappointed by the ridiculous crowds that came to see and do the exact same thing that you were. What about the novelty, the leisure, the cultural exchange? Time is of the essence. When people make this exclamation, they usually tend to express a sense of urgency, trying to tell someone to hurry up. However, when I hear that phrase, it just reminds me of how valuable and precious our time is. Life is too short to rush through it. What's the point of that? Yes,
we're all going to die,
but in the end, it really won't be about how much you squeezed into your lifetime, but more so how impactful your actions were for yourself and for everyone around you. So let's get into what it actually is. Slow travel is how you choose to travel and live life. Slow travel all started with the slow food movement, birthed around the 1980s Italian protests about a McDonald's chain restaurant opening up. Essentially, the slow food movement was the solution to the undesired concept of fast food at that time and place. Today, slow travel is an escape from our fast-paced world. Slow foods are made with lots of love, highest quality and fresh ingredients, with locality and tradition in mind. Slow travel embraces living like the locals do, and it focuses on the quality of your time rather than how much you're able to do. A slow travel mindset allows you to stress less on scheduling and focus more on being present by shifting your perspective away from how things should go or how things have to be and toward making the most of what's in front of you. Slow travel encourages you to hone in on your sights, smells, tastes, and feelings. You'll give yourself the space and time to think about the synergy you're creating between you and your surroundings, and you'll develop deeper bonds with the people and the place you're visiting. Which brings me to my second point. A slow travel mindset allows you to see the world more authentically. Many times, slow travel aims to look past the commercialism of a city or a culture. It allows for discovery beneath the surface. Instead of defaulting to go and shop at the big city mall, what about finding where and when the local street markets are held? Chat with the very people who made that bracelet themselves out of locally sourced recycled material, or the farmer who grew those organic strawberries on his family's land. A slow travel mindset also allows you to travel sustainably. What's awesome is that there are a lot of overlapping things between slow travel and sustainable travel. Take transportation, for example. Sustainable tourism celebrates walking, biking, or taking public transportation to minimize carbon emissions. Slow travel is the same, except for the intended reason being to better take in and appreciate one's surroundings. Supporting local initiatives and taking less frequent, longer trips are just a few of the things that both slow travel and sustainable travel support. To save the planet and have a fulfilling getaway while you're at it is a win-win to me. There really is no right or wrong way to approach slowing down your lifestyle. We all have our own intentions, and you are the creator of the experience you want to have. These are just tips that could be useful on whatever journey you find yourself on. research. If you don't know where you want to go yet, conduct a search on what you aim to do, whether it's finding a job, internship, school course, or local festival or event that aligns with your interests. If you want to be extra organized, I highly recommend starting some kind of a spreadsheet with the following information. Other than the city and whatever event or program that you're going there for, you also want to have the dates and when those are available or occurring, an idea of kind of what the average transportation cost it is to get there, whether you're flying or driving, taking a bus, train, potential accommodations are for when you're there, whether it's provided by the employer or the school, Airbnbs, hostels, short-term rentals, whatever it is. This is especially important for Plan Bs if your first option doesn't work out. You're going to want to note down current events. Any travel advisories are super important, and weather reports. You don't want to fly into a place that's about to get hit by a giant snowstorm, or where a disease is spreading rampantly across the city, or still spreading rampantly across the city in this case. And any additional notes like cultural or local etiquette, or any additional sources of information, so that you're prepared to respect the locals. These are just the bare essentials of what I think is a good foundation to start with when planning out a potential trip. And you really can get as detailed as you want, but make sure not to get lost in the sauce or overthink it to the point where you're overwhelmed with information. Reading into travel blogs can be really great sources of information and inspiration, but at the same time, it's important to note that this is their experience. And I find it much more of a pleasant trip when I'm not comparing my experience with someone else's. Which brings me to my next point. Plan lightly. Approach the whole concept of travel with an open mind. Not only with taking part of new traditions and being exposed to different lifestyles, but also with having a flexible attitude toward potentially evolving plans and taking opportunities when doors are open to you. Plan for plans to change. It's not to say don't make plans, but rather have some loose plans with room for last-minute spontaneity. And don't forget to plan for rest and relaxation. After years of working in the hospitality industry, I've noticed that tourists taking breaks from their crazy itineraries are a common thing that people forget to do, leaving them totally burnt out and ready to go home. Understand that we cannot control the weather. Prepare to have a good time, rain or shine. And this is probably the most important thing. Leave ample time beforehand to prepare and pack for your trip, and leave extra time after you get back to be able to reflect, digest, and recalibrate back to reality. You're also going to want to think local and long term. If you still don't know where to go, choose a destination where you're able to stay with a local, whether they are already a friend of yours. Locals are the best sources on getting the unfiltered and uncommercialized perspective of a place. Eat, shop, and do as the locals do. When in Rome, combine slow travel with a long-term project or commitment such as a work trip, seasonal job, or studying abroad, or even volunteer exchanges. This allows you to establish yourself, create a home base, and make direct connections with locals you will be living, studying, and working with. Try and bunch your trips together for nearby destinations. For example, if you're from Los Angeles, planning to go to Athens, Greece, for a week, but you've also been itching to go to Amsterdam. Maybe think of taking 2 or 3 weeks off as opposed to one in order to be able to hit both of those destinations rather than just one. And maybe choose to take a train and see all the cool cities in between. This saves you and the environment that extra round trip. Coolworks.com and Couchsurfing.com are my two favorite go-to sources when planning my travels on a budget. And it's great to surf through these sites for inspiration and see what all the possibilities are out there. Coolworks is a great source for finding seasonal work. They partner with businesses located all around the world. There are seasonal work positions in all industries, from education, hospitality, adventure, science, government, and more. Room and board may also be an option available for that position, often offered at low to no cost at all. And you can conduct a search based on location, season, lifestyle, position, housing. They're pretty dang awesome. Couchsurfing is a platform for hosts, those with space available in their home, and couch surfers, those looking for a place to stay for a short time. It's like an Airbnb for free, and it comes with a chance to make friends with your local host. I think there is a small membership fee though if you want to have an account with them, but actually staying with people, it's free. It's common etiquette to bring them like a small gift, like some packet of hot chocolate from where you're from or the last place you were, or a little trinket, souvenir. Where you can stay can range from a literal couch in the living room to your own bedroom with a private bath. The spectrum is wide, and you might have a host who loves socializing and will take you to all the places in town, or you might have a host who will set you up with your bedroom, where to sleep, and then they'll disappear. Part of the fun is not knowing what you'll get till you get there. I've successfully completed 2 seasons of work from 2 different companies I've found through Coolworks, and I've stayed with over 10 different couchsurfing hosts all over the United States with nothing but good stories to tell. So I can confidently recommend using these sites. Back in high school, before I was even aware of the concept of slow travel, I began my slow travel journey. It started with a cultural exchange and homestay program for a summer in Tokyo, Japan. That same summer, I landed a spot with a marine biology scuba dive camp in Puerto Morelos, Mexico. Both were scholarships with most of the costs taken care of, so I highly recommend looking into fully paid education opportunities and get used to writing application essays. After high school, I spent my first semester of college in Lugano, Switzerland, completed a summer course in Seoul, South Korea, and I was lucky to return to Tokyo for a full semester before finally graduating. After college, of course, I found more excuses to spend months of my time in new places. I discovered seasonal work, largely due to stumbling across Coolworks.com. It has taken me to some of the most beautiful places like northern Arizona and western Montana. With these experiences, I've been able to spend at least 1 month and up to 5 months in some of these places. It's almost odd still calling it travel because these new places and new faces become home. These experiences can be for anyone willing and able if the intention is there. Being too young, too old, too broke, whatever it may be, these are all just distractions from making slow travel and slow living possible. It may take some time to plan a route, but that in itself is part of the journey. But like I said, don't overthink it. Make those initial decisions and let life unfold before you. Today, I practice slow travel, mostly by taking road trips. This past year, I focused on keeping my journeys close to home. I'm learning that I don't need to go very far to see something new. After driving for just a couple of hours, I could find myself in new and unfamiliar territory, and that in itself is enough to fuel my excitement. And wherever I am, there are bound to be travelers and foreigners that bring the world to me without even having to leave town. Just conversing with others can feel like I'm experiencing a piece of the world that I haven't before. And hey, the sunset looks different every day in the same place if you take the time to see it. You might not even have to leave your backyard to discover something new. So, whatever stage in life you're at, slow travel can be integrated into how you live and how you see the world. I hope that my experience and tips inspire you to go forth and open your heart to every moment you get. Bask in all that the world has to offer at your own comfortable pace. Practice relishing those flavors, breathing deeply to take in the aroma, walking a little slower, and you just might notice something spectacular. In the comments below, share something you've learned to appreciate from slowing down. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more shenanigans.